You know, one of the most life-changing quotes I've ever heard? Bees don't waste their time explaining to flies why honey is better than shit. But sometimes a fly listens and it goes for the honey. All its old little fly buddies and pals talk to him, being like, hey, come back over here. What are you doing? You can't chase honey. It's just a pipe dream. It's for the birds. It's not for you. You aren't meant to eat honey. One of the hardest things that you're going to have to do as a person is give all those flies the finger. Say what you want about Joe Rogan, but one of the truest testimonies that he ever gave was that most men live in quiet desperation. And what he meant by that was mostly our lives are just stressful. 85% of people report significant stress in their lives. Only 15% of people truly enjoy their jobs to where it's good stress. 15% is abysmal. Why the hell do 85% of people put up with it? Is it because we were lied to by the mainstream that college was the best option for us? That we were told to go and put in all this hard work, years of dedication and service just to get a good job? Prep from school, prep for lunch bells, going in the morning, leaving, long rides on the bus. What was it all? When did it start? As somebody with 4 degrees, one of them being a master's, I'd trade all of them in for a welding certificate. For over 6 years, I spent time with fellow classmates who suffered from an overinflated sense of intellect when they were truly, to the core, mentally deficient. Most shocking, because these people will go on to be chief clinical officers, CEOs, executive directors. They will go on to lead industries when they have no business leading anything. The wealthiest people in the world don't have a college degree. They weren't indoctrinated like sheep. If you tell somebody you have a job that pays $50 an hour, they're generally going to ask if your place is hiring, if they can give you their resume, if you can put in a good word for them. But if you tell somebody you have your own business and you clear over $100K a year, they're going to say, oh, must be nice. Funny thing is, $50 times 80 hours a week times 26 pay periods is around 100 grand, a little bit over. Isn't that a little funny? They only are interested in one side. Why? But that's not even the biggest tragedy. The bigger tragedy is retirement. That floating notion of if you work for most of your natural adulthood, way into the middle age, when you're past your prime, you're not able to really do anything else, that's the golden years. My last day job, I worked in hospice, and I can tell you that death, nobody wants to think about it, but when you're confronted and you're faced to watch it happen every day, I listened to countless testimonies from people over time who worked for 30 plus years in their job, giving up their dreams to have a steady income that was safe. Also, they could meet retirement. And they got an RV and went down to one of these little resorts here in Arizona, and that was where they got sick. They were no longer able to travel. They were too weak, too ill. Then you get to hear their testimonies. You would think that most of them would be happy with having a good life, making it to retirement, but that was not the case. Most of them were really upset and regretful that they wasted all that time doing all that stuff just to have a short ending, and that they wish they would have chased their dreams in the process. That was the most miserable career field for my occupation, but it was the most important one because it forced me to think about how my death will be and what it is eventually going to become and what it's likely to be. It's not going to be some golden thing where I just fall asleep and don't wake up after I've lived a good life and had my fill of retirement. It could end any time. And when it does end, do I want to be full of regret? Or do I want to go for it? It is that moment when I realized that the Spartans had it right. When you watch that movie 300 and you listen to Leonidas say, Spartans never retreat, Spartans never back down. It is death or glory. I don't know if they actually said that, but I'm assuming that was their motto, that they knew what was actually better. That it was better to die in your prime, going all out for what you believed in, than wait and back down and cower into old age where you can do nothing. Where all windows of opportunity have now been squandered. If all of us approached life like that, what would we become? I wanted to live like that, because after what I had seen, I was no longer afraid to die. that I realized if you don't chase your dreams and you squander the opportunities, then it is truly the biggest tragedy in life. A waste of talent and a waste of opportunity. And I definitely wasn't utilizing any of those things. You will likely never achieve greatness if you are afraid. You can't lead people, you can't lead movements, you can't lead anything. In order to pull this off, you might have to hurt some feelings and leave a few people behind. Tell everybody who doubted you, no matter what they are to you, your friends, your family, your spouse. These people we care about are maybe even the most dangerous, because their opinions still matter to us, even though they're not experts on subject matter and they have no experience in what we're about to do. You have to ask yourself, if these people were not of any importance to us, if their status had no bearing on what we were and they were just strangers and they gave us that exact same advice, would it make sense? Would it be useful? Or would we look at them and wonder why the hell they're even talking and they don't know what they're talking about? If that is the response and that is the answer you get, then you know what you have to do. If you chose the safe route for a career and now you're miserable, know that there is a way out. You need to find a side hustle that utilizes your chief talents, the ones that you really enjoy doing. And you need to keep doing it. People will complain. Your spouse and your family will complain about time. Your boss will complain to you that you have no more heart in your job because you truly don't. They're going to try and swindle you back into motivation, saying this company is your future. All kinds of bullshit. But you keep pressing forward and you keep doing this. That is the way you escape this. If you're a young man, start out your life by focusing on how to become a monster, how to become the most powerful, finding your chief talents and just capitalizing and hyper-focusing on them. The minute you get a wife or have a kid or get a mortgage, those responsibilities weigh you down significantly, and it will be really hard for you to capitalize on your true talents, and you're likely to end up settling for less just to get by because the responsibilities are too great. If you can capitalize on your talents and make them profitable, then all those things we just talked about will come regardless. It's just a matter of time. You can never say, I can't. A new way of thinking has to be, how can I? How can I make this happen? Because if you start to say, I can't, then fear and failure will subjugate you into compliance. You don't ever want to be the one to forge the bars that mark your own imprisonment. Understand that it is easier to work harder and make more money than it is to save it. That money is expendable. They make more and more of it every day. But the one thing you can never waste is time. Time is finite. And even more so, your time as a prime male is super finite. With everything out here to try and attack it, you must push forward. When you're in your 20s, you care about what everybody thinks. When you're in your 40s, you stop caring what people think. And when you're in your 60s, you realize nobody ever gave a crap about you to begin with. So why should you care now? The only one you should ever care about is our God, the Most High. For when I asked Him to help me, He gave me all of you. It is all of you who saved my life. And it is why I'm here to make this video, giving you my testimony. So if you're someone who's living in quiet desperation, turn that desperation into hunger. Find your talent, capitalize it, create a side hustle, and then turn that side hustle into the love of your life. If you're young, resist temptation and grab life by the horns. I bear witness of these things to be true through all my mistakes and triumphs. Be true to yourself, first and foremost, over everything. Be strong, men, and for heaven's sakes, go fishing.